So for the week 12 lesson, so we have sufficient supply of consumable items and for fault repairs and preventive maintenance of tools. So for the week 12, so dalawang topic po yung included. So ayan, regarding supplies and fault repairs and preventive maintenance. So let us first identify yung ating intended learning outcome or learning objective for this two topic na sa lesson week 12 natin. So number 1, identify the qualities of reliable suppliers and list factors to consider in supplier selection. So ano ba yung mga qualities na hahanapin natin sa ating potential suppliers for our business? So what are the factors to consider in selecting and choosing ng supplier natin? So syempre, in selecting supplier, so maglalabas tayo ng pondo or budget ng company. So we have to be very careful and piliing maigi kung sino yung mga reliable or necessary suppliers natin. So number 2, explain the importance of negotiating contracts and summarize the role of service level agreements in supplier relationship. So mamaya itatakal din natin regarding about legal agreement, legal documents, ano si SLA, yan, for the negotiation or contract natin between supplier. So number 3, describe common causes of equipment failure and illustrate preventive maintenance and practices to avoid downtime. So ito doon na to sa ating second topic, yung preventive maintenance. So proper preventive maintenance, what are the practices na we should avoid to prevent yung ating equipment from damage or yun nga, ma-prolong natin yung lifespan ng ating equipment. So number 4, differentiate between effective and ineffective maintenance approaches and analyze their impact on business operations. So paano ba yung effective way na pag-handle ng mga equipment? So mamaya i-discuss natin. Number 5, assess strategies for supplier management and maintenance systems and justify their role in ensuring efficiency, reliability, and cost effective. So for the first topic, so first part ng topic natin on this week 12, so sufficient supply of consumable items. So when choosing and negotiating with suppliers, you need to consider a number of different factors. How you weigh up the importance of these different factors will depend on your business priorities and strategy. So when selecting and negotiating with our suppliers, so there are some common factors or qualities that we should look for sa ating magiging supplier. Ano ba yung mga dapat i-consider natin? So, yung mga factors na yon will depend dun sa specific needs ng ating business. So, by carefully evaluating those factors, so nadidetermine po natin kung ano yung mga kailangan nating hanapin na qualities dun sa ating magiging potential suppliers. So, this will help you decide what you need in a supplier, identify potential suppliers, or choosing your suppliers. It will also show you how to manage your relationship with the suppliers and negotiate the best possible deal. So, syempre, same with the selection ng business tools na gagamitin natin. Syempre, in choosing our suppliers, so meron din tayong mga dapat i-consider or kumbaga, maging basis natin kung paano tayo mamimili ng ating mga nararapat na supplier for our business. So, what you should look for in a supplier. So, there are a number of key characteristics that you should look for when identifying and shortlisting possible suppliers. So, ano-ano yun? So, una, sabi dyan, quality and reliability. So, the quality of your supplies needs to be consistent. Your customers associate poor quality with you, not your supplier. So, equally, if your supplier lets you down with a late delivery, or faulty supplies, you may let your customer down. So, yan. Sabi dyan, no? Yan. Number 1, ang hahanapin natin is quality ng supplies. Dapat consistent yung quality na isusupply sa atin ng ating supplier. So, we need to be very careful sa factor na to kasi hindi naman si supplier yung masisira, diba, sa ating mga customer. So, for example, for quality ng product natin, so hindi naman natin pwede sabihin kay customer na Kung may complain na, kasi ganito yung supplier namin, ganyan. So, syempre, maingat po tayo sa pagpili ng ating supplier. So, make sure na consistent na in good quality yung kanilang isusupply sa ating raw material, syempre, para makapag-produce din tayo ng good quality na product natin. So, para maiwasan yung complaint, negative feedback ng ating mga customer. So, yan. So, reliable. So, yan. On time na delivery. So, syempre, importante yan. So, pag laging late yung delivery ng supplier natin, so, it can lead doon sa maapektuhan yung workflow, yung process, production ng ating company. So, importante na on time lagi si supplier. Or kung hindi man maiwasan ma-delay, so at least proper communication. So, na-inform tayo ahead of time. So, ano pa? So, we have to make sure na, yun nga, na-meet yung standard ng quality consistently. So, para syempre, yun nga, maganda yung outcome ng finished product natin kasi maganda rin yung quality ng supplies galing sa ating supplier. So, yeah, importante nga na we selected a supplier that provides good quality products and yung reliable nga yung ating supplier. So, number 2, another factor that we should look for or qualities ng supplier. So, yan. So, pangalawa, speed and flexibility. Flexible suppliers help you respond quickly to changing customer demands and sudden emergencies. So, syempre, pag flexible sa supplier natin, mas madaling makapag-adapt doon sa changing customer demands. Yan. So, yung pag-handle ng mga unexpected, sudden or emergency orders natin. Yan. So, dapat flexible enough sa supplier to accommodate yung mga emergency, bigla ang order natin. So, minsan, hindi kasi may iwasan yun, lalo na kung bigla ang tumaas yung demand doon sa product natin, syempre, mabilis din yung movement ng supplies natin. So, malaking bagay pag si supplier ko is flexible. So, agad-agad na-accommodate yung ating orders. Pero, syempre, we try as much as we can na mag-order in advance, syempre, para hindi rin nabibigla si supplier. Pero, ayun nga, malaking bagay pagka flexible enough si supplier, yan nga, sa mga bigla ang orders or sudden mga emergency orders. So, ano pa? So, syempre si company, so dapat flexible enough din. So, huwag tayo mag-settle sa isang supplier lang. So, at least we have 2 or more option ng supplier, lalo na sa raw materials. So, hindi tayo pwede magdepende sa isang supplier lang. So, bakit po? So, syempre, for example, bigla ang naubusan ng stock si supplier, bigla ang nagsara, at least, we have other options. So, hindi pwedeng matigil yung operation natin dahil nagsara lang or naubusan ng stock yung ating main supplier. So, dapat lagi tayong may backup suppliers. So, next, value for money. So, the lowest price is not always the best value for money. So, if you want reliability and quality from your suppliers, you have to decide how much you're willing to pay for your supplies and the balance you want to strike between cost, reliability, quality, and service. So, bakit sinabing value for money? So, when it comes to purchasing ng supplies for our business, so hindi nangangahulugan po na lagi yung lowest price ang ating best option. So, minsan, di ba, pag sobrang mura, so nakakatakot pa nga. So, kahit naman sa finished product, di ba, pag sobrang mura niyan, expect natin na low quality din. So, syempre, doon sa supply natin, galing sa supplier, ayaw naman natin mag-settle doon sa low quality na raw materials. So, maging maingat po tayo. So, wag laging yung lowest price, yun na agad yung option natin. So, check din natin yung quality or best option. So, in order to ensure yung best value for money, so, check din natin yung, sabi diyan, cost, reliability, quality ng service. So, di ba, mas maigi na yung tama lang yung pricing, hindi sobrang mahal, sobrang mura. Pero, kung in the long run, mas makakasave naman tayo ng money and time. So, maiwasan yung delays doon sa mga supplier. Yan. So, on-time delivery, maganda yung quality ng supply. So, doon po tayo dapat mag-settle. So, huwag doon lagi sa lowest price. So, syempre, same din yan with business tools. So, hindi laging porque mura, iyan na yung best option. So, we have to consider nga, and sabi dyan, value for money. So, kung talagang natumbasan ng good quality and, yun nga, efficient na magagamit yung business tool kung business tool niya. So, we have to be wise in spending yung budget ng company. So number 4, strong service and clear communication. So you need your suppliers to deliver on time or to be honest and give you plenty of warning if they can. So the best suppliers will want to talk with you regularly to find out what needs you have now and how they can serve you better in the future. So yun, dapat si supplier ay capable mag-deliver on time ng supply. So kung nagkaroon ng delay, problema, dapat honest and transparent sa supplier. So, on time, agad-agad, mag-update, magko-communicate sa atin kung magkakaroon ng aberya, ng delay sa delivery. So, at least na-inform tayo agad. So, para alam natin yung kailangang adjustment sa operation. So, hindi natin na-expect na dadating ngayon on time yung delivery, at least nagagawa natin ng paraan or adjustment doon sa operation. So, importante na, ayun nga, may proper communication, marunong makipag-communicate si supplier sa atin. So, in case ng mga ganong scenario, di ba? At least aware po tayo kung ano naman yung kailangang adjustment due to the delay ng delivery ng supplies or kung ano mang klase ng aberya yan. So number 5, financial security. So it's always worth making sure your supplier has sufficiently strong cash flow to deliver what you want and when you need it. A credit check will help reassure you that they won't go out of business when you need them. So, syempre, we have to make sure yung financial security ng ating supplier. So, paano natin magagawa yun? Sabi dyan, through credit check. So, or mag-research tayo about dun sa supplier natin. So, legal ba yan? Registered? So, how long have they been in the industry? So, gano'n nakatagal sila supplier? So, dapat alam natin yung mga ganong bagay. So, background check muna natin or credit check muna natin yung ating supplier. Siyempre, ayaw naman natin makipag-transact doon sa mga not registered na supplier or other business. So, baka mamaya biglang magsara yan or hindi na natin makontak. So, sayang po yung puhunan na nilaan natin doon. So, we have to be very careful when selecting yung ating supplier. So, check natin yung kanilang financial status, ayan, record, ayan, mga permit, ayan, credit check. So, always check for the background ng supplier natin, lalo na yung kanilang financial status. Kasi baka mamaya biglang file yan ng bankruptcy, tapos nakabayad na tayo doon sa supply. So, sayang po. So, we have to be very careful when selecting and negotiating sa ating mga magiging supplier. So, finding out supplier, you can find suppliers through a variety of channels. So, maraming platform, maraming channels kung saan tayo makakahanap ng supplier. So, sabi dyan, this includes recommendations from friends or business acquaintances. So, yan. Pwedeng recommended yan ng friend natin, family, or other same businesses na na-try na yung quality ng service, ng supplies, ng supplier na to. So, isa sa magandang tawag dito, search yun. So, or feedback. So, kasi nga, na-try na nila yung service ng supplier na to, at least kampante po tayo na reliable yung supplier base doon sa recommendation ng ating friend or other business acquaintances. So, next, business advisor. So, yan, usually pagka mga established na company, so they have legal advisors or yun nga, business advisors. So, exhibitions. So, yan, pwede na tayo makita ng supplier dyan. So, attend tayo ng mga industry event. For example, mga events kagaya sa SMX Convention Center, yan, sa Pasay. Ano pa? Sa food naman, yan. For example, itong recent lang, yung Philippine Food Expo, kung saan multiple suppliers, so, nag-join or nag-participate doon sa event. So, pwede tayong makakita ng mga potential suppliers natin sa mga ganong klase ng industry event. So, at least secured tayo, alam natin na registered itong mga suppliers na to. Kasi syempre, they will not be able to join sa mga ganong industry event kapag po sila is hindi registered or legal. So, saan pa? So, other platform through trade press. So, for example, sa mga magazine, newspaper, pwede rin tayo dong makakita ng mga potential suppliers natin sa mga ads sa newspaper or magazine. Or online. Pwede rin tayong makahanap online, but we have to make sure nga na background check natin si supplier bago tayo makipag-negotiate or transaction. Next, drawing up a short list of suppliers. So, once you have got a clear idea of what you need to buy and you have identified some potential suppliers, you can build a short list of sources that meet your needs. So, gawa tayo ng list. Yan, base sa search natin, sa mga na-check natin, ito yung mga potential suppliers. So, base din sa list natin, so, carefully evaluate sino yung mga best option na supplier. So, it should answer the following questions. So, can the suppliers deliver what you want and when you want it? So, kaya ba mag-deliver on time? Kung ano yung supplies na kailangan mo? Financially secure ba sila? Na-credit check ba natin? Na background check? How long have they been established? So, yan, gano'n na nga sila katagal sa industry. Yung mga previous client nila. So, check natin yung mga feedback. Do you know anyone who has used and can recommend them? So, yun nga, importante or isa ring plus point para doon sa supplier kung they are recommended ng friend, family, or business acquaintance natin na nakapag-try na ng service na supplier. So, are they on any approved supplier list from trade associations or government? So, yun yan. Check natin kung they are legal, registered business or supplier. So, once you have a manageable shortlist, approach the potential suppliers. So, provide clear brief, summarizing what your requirements are and giving an idea of the level of business you hope to place. So, when you have gathered responses, compare the suppliers in terms of what matters most to you. So, wherever possible, meet potential suppliers face-to-face and see how their businesses operate. So, once na na-prepare na natin yung short list, kanina di ba nag-prepare tayo ng list ng mga possible suppliers natin. So, this time, magkakaroon na po tayo ng comparison, which is better, which is mas fit na supplier sa business natin. So, check po natin lahat ng criteria. So, double check natin, background check natin, yung mga potential suppliers. So, if you are already decided, sino yung mga kukunin natin suppliers, so if possible, meet natin sila ng personal or face-to-face. So, para mas magka-idea po tayo on how they operate their business. So, yan, makapag-establish din ng personal connection doon sa ating mga magiging supplier. Siyempre, kailangan mag-build tayo ng positive relationship doon sa mga magiging supplier natin kasi nga sila yung magkakatuwang natin doon sa ating business. So, yan, para mas ma-check din natin and mapag-usapan kung ano yung mga ina-expect natin sa ating supplier. So, ano yung ma-offer nila. So, take time to meet personal yung mga supplier or magiging supplier natin. So, check whether your supplier will be outsourcing any work to subcontractors or relies on other suppliers for critical components or service. So, if so, you may want to assess the suppliers as well. So, yan. Check din natin. So, mag-outsource ba si supplier sa other supplier or other company or sila mismo yung magpo-provide. So, double check natin yon. So, kung mag-outsource sila, so, baka kailangan din natin i-assess or i-background check yung kanilang pagkukunan ng supply. So, yan. Para alam natin yung background, capabilities ng ating mga magiging supplier bago tayo makipag-negotiate or magkaroon ng transaction sa kanila. So, number 3, negotiating. Once you have decided which suppliers you want to work with, you need to negotiate terms. So, yun, nakapag-decide na tayo kunwari, sinong mga supplier na meet na natin, nakapili na tayo ng best supplier. So, it's time to negotiate doon sa supplier na napili natin. So, before you start to negotiate, draw up a list of factors that are most important to you, such as price, delivery schedule, or payment terms. So, decide what you are and aren't prepared to compromise on. So, yan. Ito yung mga take note natin. So, pricing ng kanilang supply, delivery schedule, pasok ba dun sa schedule ng production ng business natin, payment terms. So, di ba, usually ang mga suppliers, hindi naman binabayaran ng mga businesses yan ng cash. So, madalas pa utang. So, check natin yung payment terms. So, for example, after a week, after a month, kailangan i-settle kay supplier yung payment. So, check din natin yun and yan, upon negotiation, so dapat na-discuss po yun, mga bagay na yun. So, syempre, wala namang perfect na supplier. So, be ready kung ready ka mag-compromise. Yan. So, or yung adjustment, mapoprovide naman ni supplier. So, nasa pag-uusap nyo naman po yan between the business and the supplier. So, number 4, service level agreement. So, once the negotiation is done, so, syempre, kailangan natin ng legal documents, legal contracts. So, between the supplier and the business. So, si service level agreement or tinatawag na SLA, so, this is a formal agreement or contract between the supplier and business. So, usually, si SLA, naka-attach siya sa ating contract. So, naka-indicate doon lahat ng duties and responsibilities ng both parties. So, yan, makikita natin yan. So, it is a legal document. So, naka-indicate yan yung service na ipoprovide ni supplier, etc., payment terms ninyo, ano yung mga grounds for terminating yung contract. So, lahat yan naka-indicate po doon sa ating SLA. So, again, it is a legal document. So, typical SLA or Service Level Agreement set out. So, ito yung mga usually naka-indicate sa ating legal agreement, contract, or SLA between business and supplier. So, the service being provided by the supplier. So, naka-indicate standard of service, timetable for delivery, so schedule, respective responsibilities of supplier and customer. So, legal and regulatory compliance and payment terms, yan. Service monitoring, reporting mechanism, so, and any other details na kailangan naka-indicate doon sa ating contract and termination conditions. So, yan, syempre, may mga grounds din for terminating ng contract if one party failed to do yung kanilang responsibility. So, meron ding ground for terminating early nung kontrata natin. If suppliers fail to meet agreed level of service, SLA usually provide compensation, commonly in the form of rebates on service charges. So, yan, sabi dyan. For example, si supplier is failed to meet yung agreed level ng service. Kunwari, nagkaroon ng delay ng delivery. So, sobrang delay. So, yung mga ganun scenario, so dapat they offer rebates or incentive kay client, kumbaga as compensation doon sa naging hassle. So, in some cases, so kailangan din natin mag-adjust doon sa standard agreement niya ng supplier. So, kung hindi talaga fit kay business yung quality ng service, so na they can provide, syempre, kailangan na natin maghanap ng alternative or other supplier. So, kumbaga, tatapusin na lang natin yung contract or make a contingency plan or backup plan. So, yan. Sabi nga natin kanina, it is better to have alternative supplier just in case nga yung primary supplier natin, so, nag-fail na ma-fulfill yung ating kailangan. So, yan. Dapat lagi tayong may backup supplier. So, be alert and flexible. So, yan. Sa any possible risk, challenge, na pwedeng mag-cause ng problem sa business. So, lagi tayo dapat may backup plan or other option. So, number 5, building good relationship. So, place and to invest time in building good relationship with your key suppliers. So, consider doing the following. Una, meet your contacts face-to-face and see how their business operate. So, to better understand or to better know yung ating supplier, so, invest time and time to meet them personal. So, to know our supplier more. So, keep in regular contact and update them on strategic changes or new products early on. So, this help them adapt to meet those changes. So, yun. Inform din natin sila, update about to sa ating mga strategies, new products na ilo-launch. So, at least, makapag-prepare and ready sila doon sa mga other or additional orders natin ng raw materials or supplies. So, ask about their plans for development or expansion. So, will this affect the goods or services they are providing to you? So, help your suppliers by placing orders in good time, being clear about deadlines, and paying on time. So, one way of building good relationship, maintaining. So, dapat being on time din tayo sa pag-settle ng payment kay suppliers. So, kasi doon, mapapakita natin na we value the good relationship na meron tayo sa supplier natin. So, yan. Take note sa deadline of payment, yan, payment terms, schedule of payment kay supplier, syempre. So make your business important to your suppliers and they will work harder for you. Some suppliers may offer better deals if you promise to use them exclusively. However, this may cause significant problems if they go out of business. So, when choosing your supplier, dapat yung business natin is isa sa priority ni supplier. So, some suppliers nag-offer ng mas better deal or inclusion ng service if exclusive na sila lang po yung ating supplier or sila lang yung ating primary supplier. Pero syempre, sabi nga natin kanina, dapat may backup supplier tayo lagi. So, in case nga ano man ang mangyari sa ating primary supplier and syempre, at the end of the day, business pa rin po ito. So, huwag natin isara yung opportunity na makakita or to find a better supplier. So, baka may mas better pa, mas good option na supplier. So, wag natin isara yung opportunity dun sa isang supplier lang. So, don't ignore opportunities offered elsewhere. Keep your options open by monitoring the deals offered by other suppliers. So, check din natin yung ibang possible supplier. Baka mamaya mas may better silang ina-offer na service. So, but then again, so kailangan natin tapusin yung contract with our current supplier. So, saka tayo mag-decide kung magpapalit tayo ng supplier or magre-renew pa tayo ng contract kay current supplier natin. Number 6, ending contract. So, there are many reasons for terminating a contract with a supplier. So, they might consistently fail to provide you with services or goods that meet your requirements, or you may find a cheaper or more reliable supplier elsewhere. So, ano ba yung mga potential reasons bakit i-end na natin yung contract kay supplier or hindi na tayo mag-renew ng contract after the agreed contract. So, possible, nakakita tayo ng mas better supplier, mas magandang quality ng service, but, yan. So, inform din naman natin si supplier about sa plan natin na hindi na mag-renew ng contract, mag-end na ng contract. So, inform naman natin sila. So, syempre, naging supplier pa rin naman natin sila, maging professional pa rin po tayo. So, inform natin sila before the end of the contract. So, yun. So, at least, so, baka mamaya meron silang i-offer na mas better deal. Kasi syempre, ayaw naman ni supplier na mabawasan yung kanyang client. So, baka mas, pag in-inform natin, mag-offer na mas better deal, dagdagan yung service, yung quality. So, check din natin. So, again, inform din natin sa supplier about our plan of ending the contract. So, maging professional po tayo dahil hindi porke tapos na yung contract, bye-bye na. So, inform natin si supplier. So, to avoid such problems, you should think about the possible pitfalls of ending a contract early at the contract negotiation stage. Consider seeking legal advice when drawing up important contracts. So, yan. Mostly naman ng mga company, lalo na yung mga established na, so they seek legal advice from their lawyer. So, regarding yung contract, so before they sign the contract, yung supplier, so ipapacheck muna nila yan sa kanilang lawyer or legal advisor, business advisor. Syempre, protection po yan ng business. So, bago makipag-transact. So, syempre, yan, para talagang fully aware din tayo sa contract agreement na papasukin natin doon sa negotiation ninyo ni supplier. So, it is a good idea to have guidance in place for how you handle the termination of a supplier contract to help you to avoid alienating a supplier you may need at a later date. So, explain to the supplier why you are ending the contract. They may be able to offer you a better deal and save you from disruption by lowering the price or raising the quality of goods or services they provide. So, yun nga, nasabi na natin kanina before ending the contract, inform naman natin si supplier. So, ano ba yung reasons? Bakit hindi na tayo magre-renew ng contract with them? So, baka mamaya at dahil nga dun sa nag-inform tayo, so, mag-offer sila ng additional incentives, additional service. Yan. Mas improve na service. So, pwede rin babaan nila ng konti yung pricing para ma-meet yung ating standard or ma-convince tayo na mag-renew pa ng contract. So, yun. Inform din naman natin si supplier, yun, about the sa plan natin na hindi na mag-renew ng kontrata sa kanila. So, we're done on the first part ng topic natin for the week 12 lesson. So, doon na pa tayo sa second topic natin, fault repairs and preventive maintenance of business tools. So, ano ba yung mga proper repairs, proper preventive maintenance sa mga different business tools natin. Dito, equipment failure happens, the impact of it can run the range from easily fixed with minimal losses to terrible, depending on factors like repair costs, total downtime, health and safety implications, and impact on production and delivery of service. So there are several common reasons equipment failure happen. Understanding each one and how to prevent them is your first line of defense against the serious consequences of unplanned downtime. So, syempre, business tools are essential for the smooth functioning of any business. So, sa mga previous lessons, na-discuss naman natin about the importance ng mga business tools to have a productive and efficient workflow. So, syempre, yung mga business tools po natin, ginagamit natin ang our daily business operations. So, darating ang time, masisira, nagkakaroon ng malfunctioning, naluluma yung mga machinery parts, ayan, equipment. So, syempre, kailangan ng proper maintenance sa mga business tools or equipment natin. So, parang sa computer lang din yan. Pag luma na, hindi na-update, yan, walang maintenance, naghahang na, nagka-crash. So, syempre, ayaw naman natin ng mga ganong equipment kasi syempre, na di-delay yung operation natin or yung task natin. So, yun, kailangan ng proper maintenance, preventive maintenance sa mga business tools natin. So, or, yun nga, at least minimal pa lang yung damage, yung problema ng equipment na aagapan natin with proper repair and maintenance na gagawin doon sa equipment. So, there are 5 common causes of equipment failure dito sa ating lesson. So, isa-isahin po natin. So, una, improper operation. So, hindi natin babasahin. So, sabi lang dito sa statement, so sinasabi po dito na dapat yung mga assigned staff natin na para mag-operate ng mga equipment, business tools natin, is knowledgeable enough, may enough training on how to operate properly or smoothly yung ating mga equipment. So, importante yung mga assigned personnel doon sa mga different business tools is talagang familiar doon kung paano ang proper usage, pag-iingat, pag-ooperate doon sa ating mga equipment. So, alam din nila dapat yung mga basic troubleshooting. Yun. If ever na nagkaroon ng problem yung mga equipment. So, hindi naman maiiwasan minsan, ayan, may time nga na, ayun, kunwari, absent or naka-leave yung employee natin naka-assign doon sa mga certain equipment. So, dapat yung mga naiiwang employee, so they are knowledge on how to operate ng equipment. Siyempre, hindi naman mahihinto yung operation dahil lang may absent, may nakasick leave. So, dapat, yun nga, expertise din ng mga other employee. So, paano yun? So, through cross-training. So, iti-train natin sila hindi lang doon sa mga assigned equipment. So, dapat they are knowledgeable enough to handle, operate din yung ibang equipment natin through nga doon sa cross-training na pinoprovide natin. So, yan. Sabi dito, one solution is to ensure that you have enough trained operators to allow for flexibility training staff shortage emergencies if possible. All your operators should have some training on every piece of equipment, even assets they don't typically work with. So, yun nga, para flexible yung operation. So, yan. So, number 1 solution is enough training for the employees who handle the equipment. Or, yun nga, merong cross-training na tinatawag para yan, different employee, familiar on how to operate yung mga different equipment. Siyempre, hindi naman hihinto ang operation dahil kulang ng staff, may absent, etc. So, flexible enough dapat yung mga ibang employees. So, other common causes of equipment failure. So, sabi niya, failure to perform preventive maintenance system. So, most equipment requires regular maintenance for optimal performance, but too often, preventive maintenance is the first task to go when you're short-staffed and overwhelmed. So, yan. Mostly ng mga business tools naman, kailangan talaga ng regular maintenance. But sometimes si company, hindi ito na-apply yung regular maintenance, lalo na pag busy yung operation, kulang sa staff, yan, kulang sa manpower. So, since gumagana naman yung equipment, minsan nakakalimutan na yung schedule, preventive maintenance, which is Mali po. Dapat nasusunod yung scheduled maintenance kasi nga lalala yung problema ng equipment. In the long run, matutuloy yung masira pagka walang proper maintenance, proper repair. So, ayun, imbes na minor issue lang yung equipment, lumala, na sayang. So, kailangan na natin magpalit ng equipment. So, that is, so, with the help ng preventive maintenance, ayun nga, nare-repair na expand yung lifespan ng ating mga equipment. So, kasi nga naagapan yung mga sira. So, properly maintained yung equipment. So, equipment failures aren't easily detectable and often go unnoticed. So, in other cases, companies simply lack efficient planning methods for ensuring that ongoing maintenance is performed. So, tracking equipment and machinery with asset tags can help to keep maintenance schedules on track and equipment operating at a maximum operating efficiency. So, yun. Minsan, dahil madami ng equipment, hindi madaling mag-monitor ng condition ng mga equipment. Hindi madaling i-check. Yan. Kung nasusunod ba yung regular maintenance, schedule maintenance ng equipment. So, with the help, sabi dyan, ng tracking equipment and yung asset tag. So, madali nang matrack ng company or mag-schedule ng regular maintenance sa equipment. So, dun sa asset tag, commonly nakikita natin to sa likod ng mga equipment, sa gilid, yan. Sa baba, yan, yung sticker na may label. So, naka-indicate dun yung date, kailan yung last na nag-perform ng preventive maintenance for that specific equipment. Kailan unang yung date, kung kailan sinimulang gamitin yung equipment para at least alam natin yung lifespan ng equipment. So, usually, naka-indicate na text or barcode na i-scan. So, usually, ganun po yung asset tag for easy monitoring yung equipment. So, usually, ginagamit din siya for inventory. So, number of pieces ng equipment kaya. So, madaling matrack using the asset tag. Next, too much PMS. So, kung kanina, failure to perform PMS or preventive maintenance, so hindi nasunod yung schedule. So, ngayon naman, too much preventive maintenance system. So, syempre masama rin. So, dapat dun lang tayo sa proper or schedule or depende sa condition ng equipment. So, yun. Sabi nga, too much of everything is bad. So, syempre ganun din sa preventive maintenance ng ating business tools and equipment. So, ano ba yung mga common reason? Bakit sabi, too much preventive maintenance system is bad? So, syempre una, overhead cost. So, syempre yung excessive na preventive maintenance, kahit na hindi pa schedule ng maintenance, so may result to higher expenses sa company. Mas magastos, lalo na pag yung mga replacement ng parts, moving parts ng equipment, syempre, malaki ang expenses, so lilit yung income ni company. So, doon lang tayo sa tamang schedule or proper scheduling ng preventive maintenance. Huwag naman masyadong sobra and it will be time consuming. So, nagpo-consume ka na extra time sa pag-perform ng preventive maintenance instead na ilaan natin yung time doon sa ibang mga essential na tasks for the business. So, paano magiging productive yung operation mo kung puro na lang preventive maintenance yung ginagawa. And again, too much preventive maintenance is bad. So, sundin lang po natin yung schedule or depende sa condition ng equipment kung kailangan na ng preventive maintenance. So, next, failure to monitor the equipment. So, how do you find the right balance of preventive maintenance? The key here is simple in concept, but a bit more complex in the execution. So, condition-based maintenance. So, this maintenance is done based on the operating condition of a piece of equipment instead of just a set it and forget it schedule. So, kunwari, yan, hindi properly monitored yung equipment, siyempre, it can lead sa loss ng productivity, efficiency kapag nasira yung equipment kasi walang proper maintenance. So, ano pa? So, sabi dyan, may tinatawag tayong condition-based maintenance. So, hindi lang based na sa schedule ng maintenance. So, siyempre, pag napansin natin na hindi na in good condition yung equipment, may sira na, not working properly. So, kailangan na rin ng preventive maintenance or inform agad natin yung head natin para for that necessary action or repair doon sa equipment. So, kung familiar tayo sa mga business equipment, malalaman naman natin yan kung if it is not working properly, may problema. So, base doon sa condition ng equipment, so malalaman natin na kailangan na ng preventive maintenance. So, So continuous monitoring relies on sensor data to establish a baseline for what good equipment condition looks like in order to detect subtle changes, which can be used to predict breakdowns and failures. So this allows more time for contingency planning and scheduling downtime to minimize production and interruptions. This type of monitoring and the data that's collected in the process can help companies identify the causes of increased stress on equipment and adjust the workloads and schedules to prevent asset failure. So, sinasabi lang po dito na by continuously monitoring ng equipment, may iwasan natin yung mga possible challenges that we might encounter. Kasi nga, bago pa magkaroon ng problema yung equipment, naagapan na po natin with the proper preventive maintenance. So, sabi diyan, it allows more time for contingency planning and scheduling. Downtime to minimize production interruption. So, yon, ano ba si contingency planning? So, in simple word, backup plan. Ayan nga, ini-implement ng contingency plan sa business para mas prepared tayo sa mga expected events or risks that may impact the business. Especially the operation ng business. Number 5, bad or no reliability culture. So, yan. Sa mga busy na business production minsan, so, gusto ng employee, mabilis ang solution. Kunwari, yung machine or equipment, alam na nilang may mali or not working in good condition. So, gagawan lang ng temporary solution. So, yan. May tinatawag na band-aid solution. Kumbaga, temporary fix lang. So, basta gumana yung equipment. So, kesa ma-delay yung kanilang production. So, pero in the long run, matutuluyan talaga masira yung equipment natin kasi nga hindi proper, hindi permanent yung solution no repair na ginawa doon sa equipment. So, ayan. So, make sure natin na ayun, walang ganong kultura doon sa company natin. So, make sure natin na yung ating mga employee is, yan, may malasakit doon sa equipment ng company. So, para, yun nga, maximize natin yung lifespan ng mga equipment natin. So, the bottom line, trained operators, a solid preventive maintenance schedule, and focus on reliability culture are your tickets to fear failure. Sabi yan nga, enough training for the operators, employee, so, nasusunod yung preventive maintenance schedule. So, yan, yung kultura sa company. So, may malasakit yung mga employee dun sa equipment natin. So, equipment failure happens when people make mistakes. Parts get old. Preventive maintenance is deprioritized. But by ensuring adequate operating training, running preventive or condition-based equipment maintenance at the right time, and working towards proper operation, and a better overall culture. So, you'll have a much better shot at keeping your equipment in tip-top shape. So, ayun nga, nabanggit dito yung mga common reasons bakit nagkaroon ng failure yung mga equipment. So, it's either maling paggamit, yan, or nagluluma siyempre yung equipment. So, yung mga parts niyan. Or hindi nasusunod yung scheduled preventive maintenance or condition-based maintenance sa equipment. So, yun nga. Train operators properly, enough training to minimize mistakes. Siyempre, pag well-trained ng employees, so less chances of mistakes and error. So, make sure na we perform yung scheduled maintenance. Yan, either by following yung scheduled maintenance or, yun nga, based on condition ng equipment. And lastly, we must develop and maintain a culture of care where every employee prioritize yung maintenance ng equipment. And yun nga, may malasakit sila dito sa mga business tools ni company. So, for the reference ng ating week-12 module, so yan, book, additional web page and media page related with our topic. So, again, so, 2 topics tayo sa week 12. So, about supplier and yung pangalawa is about preventive maintenance. For the semi-final activity, already posted sa Schoology natin. So, ayan. Sit work, ni-revise din po natin. Ayan, kasi nga, hindi tayo nakapag face-to-face meetings. So, skip na natin yung mga activities kasi already posted na sa ating Schoology. Yan. So, for the week 12 lesson, so it is aligned doon sa ating tatlong SDG or Sustainable Development Goals. So, this lesson is aligned with the SDG 8, Decent Work and Economic Growth, SDG 9, Industry, Innovation and Infrastructure, SDG 12, Responsible Consumption and Production. So, required na kasi pong lagyan ng SDG alignment at the end ng mga lessons. So, ayan. So, that's it for our week 12 lesson. Again, ang cover po ng semi-final exam natin is week 11 and week 12. So, please take time to listen, to watch this recorded lesson. Siyempre, para, ayun, preparation din yan for the semi-final exam. So, ayun lang po. So, thank you.